Let's talk about something we have all run into. You know that person? You give them some solid, perfectly good advice, and they immediately do the exact opposite? Well, today we're going to unpack the really surprising psychology behind people who just can't stand being told what to do.
You know what I'm talking about, right? You're just trying to be helpful and bam, you hit this invisible wall of resistance. It's confusing, it can be pretty frustrating, and it definitely makes you wonder what is really going on there.
So here's the thing. Our go-to labels for this kind of behavior are pretty predictable, aren't they? We call them stubborn, difficult, maybe even defiant. But what if I told you the psychological reality is something way deeper, and honestly, a lot more relatable? It's not about defiance for the sake of it. It's about a fundamental, powerful need for freedom.
All right, so let's get into it. We're going to peel back the layers here and go way beyond those simple labels to really get what's behind that automatic pushback response. And listen, this is absolutely the most crucial thing to get. The advice you're giving could be pure gold. It could literally be the solution to all their problems. But it doesn't matter. The pushback isn't about the content of what you're saying, it's about the feeling of being controlled that comes along with it.
So what's actually firing off in their brain when this happens? Well, psychologically, it all boils down to two really powerful core principles that are driving the whole show. Let's break them down.
Okay, first up is a term that sounds a little science-y. It's called psychological reactance. But don't let the name fool you. The idea is super simple. In fact, you've felt it a million times. It's that instant, gut-level, hey, you're not the boss of me feeling that bubbles up before you've even had a chance to think.
I think this is a much better way to put it. Think of psychological reactance like a smoke detector, but for your personal freedom. The moment your brain senses that your freedom to choose is being threatened, even a little bit, beep, 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 that internal alarm starts blaring. It's a protection mechanism, plain and simple.
So, what's so precious that it needs its own internal alarm system? Well, it's protecting one of the most basic human needs we have, autonomy. And we're not just talking about a preference. This is a deep-seated drive to be the captain of your own ship, the person in the driver's seat of your own life.
Okay, so we've got the theory down, right? This core need for autonomy and this reactance alarm that protects it. But what does that actually look like in the real world, in day-to-day life? Well, it tends to show up as 5 key traits you can actually spot.
It all starts with the foundation, trait number 1, and this one is the big one. A powerful, almost primal need for autonomy. For some people, that internal freedom dial is just turned all the way up to 11. And it's so important to remember this. We're not talking about a character flaw. It's a basic psychological need, just like our need for food or connection that's just more intense for them.
Now, if you have that strong need for autonomy, it makes perfect sense that you'd also have trait number 2,
which is high psychological reactance. Remember that freedom alarm we talked about? Well, for these folks, it's just extra sensitive. It's got a hair trigger. The slightest feeling of being restricted or pushed into a corner can set it off. And that pushback you see, that's just them trying to hit the reset button and get that sense of freedom back. From there, we naturally get to trait number 3, a deep-seated preference for independent thinking. These are the people who need to kick the tires for themselves. It's not about just rejecting ideas out of hand. It's about a need to process information on their own terms, question it, and arrive at their own conclusion, rather than just blindly following someone else's.
All right, trait number 4 might seem a little counterintuitive at first, but it's a huge drive for personal responsibility. See, this isn't about avoiding things. It's about wanting to own the outcome, good or bad. Think about it. An achievement can feel kind of hollow if you were just following orders. But when that success, or even that failure, comes from a choice you made, it feels meaningful. It's real.
And all of this culminates in our 5th and final trait.
A heightened sensitivity to control. It's like these individuals have a finely tuned radar for power dynamics. They can pick up on even subtle attempts to manage or manipulate a situation. And that resistance you feel, that's just them putting up a shield, actively protecting their personal and psychological boundaries.
Okay, so we've gone through the psychology, the core principles, the 5 traits, the whole shebang. So what? Why does understanding any of this actually matter in real life?
Well, it matters because it has the power to change everything. It allows you to move from a place of judgment to a place of understanding. The next time you see this behavior in a coworker, a family member, or, hey, maybe even in yourself, you can stop thinking, ugh, they're being so difficult, and start thinking,
Their need for autonomy is being triggered right now.
And that's really the question to leave you with. When you see this kind of pushback, are you really looking at an act of defiance? Or are you simply witnessing the powerful, universal, and deeply human need to be the author of your own life story?